So it's always been ingrained in my memory. Whenever I think about Magic Mountain, I think about Revolution.
It's got all the right elements in all the right places.
But as a kid, I was terrified of it. So honestly, looking at it, I was like, no, I don't ever want to ride that.
Being the world's first modern vertical looping coaster, I had to get on it.
Being upside down for the first time is unforgettable.
So everyone can be brave in the queue line, but it takes another thing to be brave when we're about to hit that upside down moment for the first time.
Well, in 1976, it had been almost 75 years since a loop had been attempted, and for Magic Mountain to take that risk, it was really gutsy. Anton Schwarzkopf was really an innovator for his time and has two children, Wieland Schwarzkopf and Sylvia Schwarzkopf, and both of them were involved in the family business. Wieland helped run the spare parts business, where Sylvia was able to sketch out the crazy ideas that Anton came up with.
When the company decided to build Revolution, and they contracted with Schwarzkopf to do it, one of the requirements was that they actually constructed the loop in Germany and got it set up for a train to go through it as a demonstration.
It was not possible to install the coaster in the factory because the columns were custom made. So what he has done, instead doing steel columns, he was going in the wood together with the ranger and the owner of the sawmill. He bought a lot of tree trunks and put on these tree trunks the downhill section down to the looping. It was incredible.
So all the executives of Magic Mountain at the time, they all went to Germany to see this thing happen, and it worked great.
And then the loop that you see here today at Magic Mountain is that prototype loop. That history came here to Valencia and is still here with the park today.
They came back and they started all the foundation work and they started erecting the ride.
Revolution was shipped here in 650 pieces, weighing over 235 tons.
And they got the ride up, and by some weird mistake, this loop was about 18 inches lower than it was supposed to be. They raised the loop up, they put an 18-inch block of steel in it, and they stitched these angle iron pieces on each post in order to bring it back up to the proper elevation. And this is at a time, understand, there were no computer-aided design programs. There were no computers that people used, right? This was done with a slide rule.
At the same time, in Northern California, a company called Aero Development was also developing a vertical loop. Neither company knew they were both doing the same thing at the same time. Revolution opened on May 8th, 1976, only 1 week prior to that other loop opening, which was on Cedar Point's Corkscrew. But Magic Mountain gets to have that crown forever.
You've waited long enough. The ultimate white knuckler is ready.
And the marketing campaign for the ride was a commercial that said, "Revolution, it'll knock your socks off."
Magic Mountain's Revolution, it'll knock your socks flat off.
And one of the things we had to do pre-opening on the ride was go out to that observation deck and on the ground under the loop, pick up all the socks, because people would take their socks off and throw them at the trains as they went through the loop.
And that really shows that people were paying attention to the marketing, and the marketing worked well.
Man was not meant to do that!
Schwarzkopf was the visionary. His name was on the front of every single train that we had. I had the opportunity to talk to him and through a translator explain what we were doing in terms of the pre-opening check on the ride.
Stand clear of the Revolution track. The Revolution is cycling trains.
I remember him standing on the exit dock with his hands on the railing, watching the train come down that hill. But yeah, it was definitely a highlight of my career here. In physics, to go through a perfect circle loop is very difficult to do. So what loops on roller coasters really are, they're not circular loops, they're called clothoids. And it's like take that loop and expand it to make it oblong.
Where Schwarzkopf loops are much more circular.
So it generates more G-forces than you normally get.
If you look at archive footage of Anton Schwarzkopf in Germany, it was really amazing to see how invested he was in all of his designs. You know, it wasn't just coming with the idea and working with Sylvia and Wieland to bring them to life, but it was also writing them. And he was always wearing his Bavarian suit.
Revolution is unique in its layout.
Schwarzkopf took the topography to his advantage.
Magic Mountain is a real mountain.
We're diving through the forest, there's 3 drops in a row, and I'm like, when is the loop coming? Am I on the right ride? And then boom, it appears out of nowhere.
I think it has the longest approach to the loop of any coaster I've ever been on. And you're just transfixed. And as you're going down the hill, it's getting bigger and bigger.
It's just perfect.
I was here for the filming of National Lampoon's Vacation, and this was one of the rides we shot at. I felt like I was part of a big production.
There's no better source of knowledge about roller coaster history than the American Coaster Enthusiast. It's a real honor to display that plaque out in front of the ride, and for the thousands of guests who get to see it a day.
Think about how many roller coasters in the world are 50 years old and still operating. And that's not a big number.
I think the next 50 years of Revolution are going to come down to those moments like I had with my father, and it's going to continue to be that next step roller coaster to the big time.
We are honoring the history of this ride and its roots by renaming it back to the Great American Revolution.
It really speaks to, you know, our commitment to honoring our legacy and to building on the things that built the theme park industry.
And that makes me really excited as a guest to come here and ride it, to also pay my tributes to a ride that has really revolutionized the industry.
By riding Revolution, you're joining the first loop club. Either you're riding the very first loop that ever existed, or you're riding the first loop that you've ever experienced.
Hold your hands up, scream as loud as you can.
Don't be scared.
If your eyes are open, look to the right or to the left. Seeing the whole world flip upside down like that is much different than just looking straight down the barrel of that loop.
But the sense of achievement that you get from joining the first loop club is something that you can only experience here at Magic Mountain.
You know, ever since I worked on the ride, it has always had a place in my heart.
I hope it runs forever. I literally hope it runs forever.
I'm glad it's still here. It was a good ride then, and it's still a great ride.
It's just one of the best roller coasters ever built, honestly.
Yeah, I'm very proud that we still have it. It needs to stick around.
May it always remind us of Anton's life's work. Fantastic.
I want it to be everyone's first loop, not just because of it being at the thrill capital of the world, but being the first modern vertical looping coaster and tying that to your first. It's really hard to have experiences like that, and to be able to have that here is really, really special.